Hello guys, and welcome back to a new video. Today's topic, caffeine. Everyone's favorite supplement. Everyone takes it, everyone loves it, everyone thinks it's amazing. But is it? Let's take a deeper dive and see what caffeine actually is, what does it do, who should take caffeine, how does it impact muscle growth, athletic performance, etc. Caffeine is a natural stimulant that's found in tea, in coffee, and even cocoa. The stimulant acts on the adenosine receptors, and it does not allow the adenosine to bind onto the receptor. So let's have an analogy here so it's simpler to understand. You wake up at 6 a.m., you go to work, you work hard, then you finish, you have some food, and you go to the gym. You go there, you train hard, you build muscle, you go home, maybe have another meal, you spend time with your family, you play some video games, you go outside, walk the dog, whatever you like to do in your free time. And then it gets to 9, 10, 11 p.m. and you're tired and you're dead. And the only thing that's going in your head is, man, I just want to get to bed. That is the effect of adenosine accumulating throughout the day. Your brain accumulating adenosine throughout the whole day. So, caffeine actually blocks those receptors and it does not allow adenosine to bind. So think about this as the receptor and think about this as the adenosine. Now adenosine is binded to that receptor. But now we've got a hero. We've got another part in this equation. We've got caffeine. Very symbolic as a punch. We have the receptor and now the caffeine blocks that receptor. So now adenosine cannot bind to it. That's why you get this alertness, this focus, this energy, this will, this drive when you take caffeine. But all of that sounds amazing, but should everyone take caffeine? Not really. If you have severe anxiety, if you have sleep problems, if you have heart palpitations or any heart problems whatsoever, caffeine may not be the best idea for you. If you go to the gym after 4 p.m., caffeine may not be the best idea for you. Because think about it like this. Caffeine has a half-life of about 6 hours. So if you go to the gym or you just take any caffeine around 4 p.m., now 6 hours later, 10 p.m., only half of the dose that you took has been cleared. And let's be honest, no one takes very small amounts of caffeine. A lot of people drink a lot of coffee throughout the day. A lot of people take pre-workouts, which the formulas are very, very heavily dosed with caffeine. I would go even further and say that most people should not really take big doses of caffeine after 12 p.m. Why? Because even if you take it at 12 p.m., for the caffeine to be fully cleared out of your body is going to take 12 to 13 hours. So that caffeine that you took at 12 p.m. is going to be fully cleared at 12 to 1 p.m. So that's going to hinder recovery. If you're prone to stress, anxiety, it's going to make you stressed, anxious. After you finish your workout, you will not be able to get into that parasympathetic mode. You will not be able to get into that recovery mode, and it can hinder gains. So caffeine is my favorite supplement, and in my opinion, if you don't have any problems, a supplement everyone should take. But just like anything else in this life, you need to have a balance, and you need to know when, how, and why to do it. Now, how does caffeine actually affect muscle growth? How does caffeine actually affect training performance? Well, just like we said earlier, caffeine puts you in this fight or flight mode. It gives you focus, it gives you alertness, and it gives you a sensation of less perceived effort. So when you're in there and you're doing a hard set of 10 on the bench press, and you're pushing and you're grinding it out, caffeine can make that effort look less than it actually is. And if you have a well-structured program, a well-structured diet, your recovery is good, over time, you will get more progress and, in theory, more gains. Same with athletic performance in any sport. Let's take boxing, for example. You're in there with your coach, you're hitting the bag, you're hitting the mitts. Now you have to spar. You take caffeine, you get that adrenaline rush, you get that focus, that alertness. It's gonna make you be more sharp. You can see shots that are coming at you that maybe you wouldn't have seen. So caffeine is an amazing supplement to use at a good dose, and I would recommend it for any sport athletes. Caffeine is such a powerful supplement that the Olympics actually banned caffeine after a certain dose because the performance boost was very noticeable after a certain threshold, and it was giving the athletes who were taking it a bigger advantage. So that's how powerful caffeine actually is. So now that we know what caffeine actually is, what does it do, who should take it, how does it impact performance, I would like to give you guys a few personal anecdotes, a few personal ideas. With my experience over the years, even though caffeine helps a lot and it gives you a very big boost and it makes a big difference, you should definitely be careful, especially with recovery, because caffeine can hinder your recovery a lot. If you're not careful, if you don't take it when you're supposed to, if you take it in very big doses, caffeine can definitely hinder your performance. If you take very big doses of caffeine and you go work out, after a workout, if you've taken a huge amount of caffeine, your body cannot relax. Your body cannot go into that parasympathetic mode. It cannot go into that recovery mode. It's stuck in that fight or flight mode. So you should be careful with that because it can hinder recovery, which that is the most important part. You go in the gym, you kill it, you have a good diet, but if you cannot recover from what you're doing, I don't think that's much use to you. or me, or anyone else. Um, Sleep. I see so many people telling me that, oh, I've had 2 energy drinks, I've had a coffee, and I'm sleeping just fine. No, you're not. Guys, caffeine doesn't automatically mean that you're basically gonna stay awake for 48 hours. No, it does not even mean that it's gonna make it impossible for you to go to bed. But what does it actually mean? It means that your sleep quality may take a very, very drastic drop. Whenever I take caffeine, especially close to bed and especially in big doses, I can go to sleep no problem. But when I wake up, I don't feel rested at all. I'm still like activated. I'm still in that fight or flight mode. I'm like, oh, because your brain cannot relax. Your central nervous system cannot relax. And even though you're falling asleep, you're not resting, you're not recovering. If you're prone to anxiety, I would say I have medium anxiety. And sometimes caffeine, especially when I take it in higher doses, can exacerbate that by a lot. And then it can make you anxious all day, and it can make you feel like whatever you're doing, you're gonna be super anxious, you're gonna be very paranoid, and that is not good. If you've got to the point where taking so much caffeine to have an amazing workout, but the rest of your day sucks, the rest of your day you're just anxious and you just want to kill yourself, I would say you should take a break from caffeine. Because remember earlier, guys, we talked about caffeine blocking the adenosine receptor and not letting adenosine bind to the receptor. But is it going to stay like that forever? No. What is going to happen is your body is going to sense that, and it's going to build more and more receptors. Okay? So you have a receptor here that adenosine used to bind to, and now you've got caffeine blocking that receptor, and the adenosine cannot bind to it. But your body's been made to adapt. It evolved for so many years. So what does it do? It creates another receptor. So now there's more adenosine receptors for adenosine to bind to. And that's how tolerance is built, guys. That's why when you take a certain amount of caffeine for a certain amount of time, you need to take more, because now we've got more adenosine receptors to block, right? So you shouldn't get into this huge caffeine tolerance. You're not recovering, you're not sleeping well, you're anxious all the time, because that does not help performance. That hinders your muscle growth a lot more, because you can take all the supplements you want, you can train as hard as you want, guys, but sleep is the number one tool for you to grow muscle. If you don't have your sleep on point, all these other factors, training, diet, supplements, are not going to do you anything if you sleep 4 hours a night and you're not recovering. As Dr. Mike Israetel said, sleep is the closest thing that you can get to steroids. So make sure that you're sleeping good, make sure you're not overly anxious, you don't get heart palpitations, your diet is on point, and then you can take caffeine and you can slowly dose it, slowly go up, and you can reap the benefits of caffeine. So yeah, that was the video, guys. A short video on caffeine, some personal anecdotes. I hope you really enjoyed it. And if you did, please leave me a like, guys. If you have any ideas on what I should next, you can leave them in the comments. And until next time, peace.